Hello, my name is Michael Griffin and I'm for Outdoor Survival, and I've been out picking acorns. I've talked about acorns in my last video, but a lot of people are very lost when it comes to figuring out what to actually do with it. They know it's somewhat bitter and it's not a good nut to eat out of hand, so they want to know what to do with it. And I went acorn picking yesterday, and you can see there's a whole entire bucket that I got just in a few minutes. That's roughly about an hour and a half, and the only reason why I took an hour and a half was I picked it by hand, and I was talking to people because they were so curious of what I was doing. It would have literally took me about 30 minutes to pick all this. The best way to pick it up, if you didn't have the leaves on the ground or anything like that, all the leaves are, a tree's fixing to produce, you rake the leaves or you burn it. If you burn the brush, all the grubs that are in the ground that are going to eat the acorns are going to be dead. So you're going to save your acorns from a lot of weevils. If not, you can just eat the weevils. But um, you can just have all that raked up, so when the acorns start falling, you can just rake them up in a bucket. It literally take you about 10 minutes worth of work, and you can have 3 or 4 of these right here, and you just got to pick through it. A lot of people um, think they're going to get a nut cracker and they're going to crack these things. And what's happening is this skin right here is very leathery. And if you try to crack it with a nut cracker, all it's going to do is bend, just like this, just like the rubber basket here. If I squeeze in it, it's just going to bend. It's not going to crack. And that's pretty much what an acorn shell is like. And so people will try to take this and they'll try to squeeze it. But what ends up happening is all they're doing is making a big mess. They squeezed it, it's letting the oils out. It didn't do anything. So it's kind of like you got to sit there and pick through it. I mean, you can do that if you're an old lady and you just don't want to smash things or whatever. I did that one nicely. Mostly what would end up happening is somebody would take it like this, smash it, and now they got all that to pick through. That's just a mess. It's all smashed as well. As you can see the grooves there. So the best thing to do if you're gonna use these is you put it the apex where this is, and you squeeze that way, and you until you hear a pop. That way you want to stop. You create a crease right there, and that way you can just naturally just peel out, and that easily comes out. But that if it needs to come off in 3 pieces, that's fine. Normally, um, it'll come out in one piece. But that's because you're using pliers and you put a lot of incorrect pressure on it. And so what you need to do, you're out in the wild. I'm going to use this weight because I'm right here. And basically, you're taking a hard surface, and you're taking the apex right there of the nut, and the top of the nut is your weakest point. So what you want to do is you want to hold it standing straight up, and you take a rock. This would be a rock. I'm in a house, so I'm at my brother's house. So you just do like that, and you barely pop it, and you just go to the next one. You don't concern yourself about picking every nut. You just go through it, and you just pound it. It's very quick motion, and you can actually see when you come down on the top there, it's splitting straight through, just like if you're napping flint or something like that. And all you got to do is just peel back, and here you go. You get a nice, perfect piece of nut right there. It's a wonderful piece of nut. But you got to get that brown skin off. If you see that brown skin on there, then that's just like when you eat a pecan or a walnut and you see that brown coating that's in the center. That's about what it's going to taste like, even though it's paper thin. And the way to do that, I kind of already rubbed these off. But when you get a bunch of these, you just take your hand, and you just do like that. And what'll happen is the skins will start to rub off. I don't know if you can see down here at the bottom of the barrel, but the skins are actually rubbing off down there. And then you would take a flat piece of basket, a bark, or whatever, and let's see if I can move this camera. And you're basically taking a piece of bark, something like that, and you want to winnow it out, and then you just kind of blow, and all that stuff is going to come off of it. Now, every once in a while, you're going to get a tough piece that just is going to be stubborn. And so when you get that done, you can grind from there. And that's pretty much easy how to do that without straining a lot. And the best thing to do, get up against a tree. This is the way I position myself when I'm doing this. That way I'm not having a hurt back. I'm basically taking a tree. I'm leaning up my back up against the tree. I got my bucket over here. I got my basket, or just they're laying on the ground. I'm taking my acorn splitter right there. I'm leaning up against the tree, and I'm taking my rock, and I'm just doing this. I'm not bring it as close as you can so you don't have to strain over. You just easily just pop them just like that. Don't sit there and try to take all those nuts out. Now there's several ways we're going to show you how to prepare these things. That way you can those several different methods for several different reasons. I mean, there's acorn starch, there's acorn flour, there's acorn coffee. You can boil the acorns, you can dry the acorns, you can roast the acorns. I mean, there's all different ways of actually doing this, and I'm going to show you how to do it. Okay, I'm been boiling some acorns in the in boiling water for a little while, and I added another thing of water to it, and I'm not taking the water and dumping it. I'm just adding more because I want to save the water because I'm going to make a strong brew of tannic acid, which you can kind of see the color of it right now. It's like tea color right now, but I want it to be the color of coffee. And so that can be used for medicines and stuff like that. But if you come down in here, we're going to put a couple of these right there. Wash them off. What we'll see here is when you open this up, it just kind of fall right off. Ow. So it's kind of mushy right now. And yow. But you would eat that. It's actually pretty good right at that stage. And that was only one water added. And it's very easily to peel off once you get the skin comes off. The skin's still inside there, and there's your nut meat right there. And it's literally almost mush. It's not quite there. We're going to cook it a little bit longer. But if you come here, I have roasted acorns, and you can tell how much they've actually shrunk. You look at the shell, I mean, it's literally about to fall off. So you just pop that open, and there you go. There's the nut meat. This you can just peel out real quick and make a flour out of it. It's still not hard. If you let it get too hard, it won't even hardly grind at all. It's impossible to grind. So from this stage right here, I can make a flour and then leach it out and end up creating a flour that way. Or I can just keep roasting it until it does get a little harder. Here's another example. You just take that and pop it. And that's at 200 degrees. You see the skin just comes right off. That is at 200 degrees. So far I've only cooked it an hour. I want to at least cook this about 2 hours. This still has the tannic acid in it. You can kind of see what it's doing inside. It's changing color. But when that leaches out, then you can grind it up and make flour real quick, and it'll leach it out quicker than if you would just smash it and then try to get out. But if you dry or roast, it's easy peeling. You don't have to bust your fingernails up trying to dig in like you would I showed you earlier. And this actually, the coating actually protects it. And like right now, you can actually, like I said, peel that open and start grinding it from there, and then dry it for flour. And that way, it's a lot easier. Yeah, you have to build a fire. Yes, you have to roast, over the fire, and you got to build some kind of oven to do it. You can sun dry them, just lay them on the ground while you're working and let the sun dry them, and they'll loosen them up. So that's just a tip saver there. That's why you don't focus on peeling each single one of them at the same time as you're smashing it. You're wasting a lot of time and energy. Thank you. I'll get right back. Okay, these have been roasting for 2 hours, and basically all you're doing is just taking them and peeling them off. It skins come right off. Don't even have to worry about it. Just naturally just comes off. It's very easy. If the skins do come on it, doesn't take but a second to knock it off. That's pretty much easy. How you see how the skin just comes right off. There's your shells, and there's your nuts right there. They're nice color brown. They look like the skin that was on them, but they're actually nice and roasted. And you can actually see the oil is slippery on it. That's actually nice, good roasted coffee right there. See how this skin might be still on there, but it just comes off real easily if it does stay on there. But generally, most of the time, it just falls right off. But the acorns are very easily opened. You know, you just rub your fingernail real lightly if it gets stuck like that. You see how that one barely gets stuck, but it's so dry it just falls right off. And that's your roasted acorn. And you look inside, it's still soft. You don't want it too hard, because if you get it too hard, you won't be able to ground flour. Now, if you want to make coffee, you can roast these a little bit longer to get them a little bit blacker, and then that will actually be delicious coffee. Thank you. Okay, I take them the roasted nuts and I ground them with a blender. You can do it with a stone out in the woods. It's actually kind of faster with the stone. But you're going to sieve the nuts and try to get the big pieces out, and that way you can regrind them down. But what you're trying to do is you end up getting this roasted flour that's actually very delicious. But you still got to leach it, and we'll get back to the leaching process in a minute. Thank you very much. Okay, this is the flour that I've gotten. You can see how much it is. I left a little bit of the nuts so I can roast them a little bit farther and create a coffee out of those. That'll be your daily coffee. But also you can see the food value that I've just gotten out of 7 cups of acorns that I roasted on this pan. Has literally come probably about 3 cups of 3 to 4 cups of flour, and we're going to leach that out now. We're still boiling the other stuff. It's still going, but when that's done, it's completely done. We just make mush out of it. Okay, I took the leftover grinds that I saved for my coffee, and basically this would be a rock or something like that you would have over the fireplace. I'm just using this because I'm in a house right now. But you're basically just going to lay it out flat, let it toast, and when it toasts, it'll turn a little bit darker color than this, and then you'll have coffee that you can use. This is not leached out nut, so this, when you make coffee, it will have that tannic acid flavor of the coffee. It doesn't taste exactly like coffee, but it will have that flavor. Okay, as you can see now, that's toasted. There's a couple of burnt pieces in there, but even when you got it on the rock, you're going to have to move it around because it's still cooking. So the best thing, if it's getting too much, just pull it off the rock. That's pretty much your coffee right there. I hope you watch the part 2, so the end process of this. The flour turned out to be 5 cups of flour from 7.5 cups of raw nuts turned into 5 cups of flour after it was roasted and ground. But make sure you watch part 2, and I will show you how the end products are. Thank you very much.